So now that we've got our project looking pretty good, the next logical question is, what happens when we want to sell desktop speakers of different sizes? And the answer to that question is we're going to upload similar parts to the same group. Let's take a look and see how it's done. So here you can see I'm in SOLIDWORKS and I'm clearly working with new geometry. The woofer is larger, the cabinet is larger, the tweeter is the same size. Now, in this case, I'm actually working with a totally different assembly. All of the parts have been renamed to larger. This could also be a different configuration, or it could even be imported data. SOLIDWORKS Cell doesn't care. All we care about are the groups that you assign the different parts to. So I'm going to choose Publish. And because I'm working with a different assembly, SOLIDWORKS Cell may or may not recognize the template that I was previously working with. If it doesn't, just make sure that you take a moment to go and choose Speaker 01, the correct project that we were just working on. Now, I want to make sure that all the appropriate parts from this assembly are grouped with their counterparts from the previous assembly. So I'm going to go through the list of groups and do that now. I'll start with the first group named Bottom. I'm going to click the bottom panel and I'm going to see that that group indexes from one solid body to two. There are now two solid bodies in this group. I'm going to go to Top, click this solid body, and so on down through the list. Now that I've selected all of the components to be bucketed with their corresponding components from the previous project, I simply need to double check that my resolution is set to coarse, and I'm ready to choose Publish. We can then return to our SOLIDWORKS Cell Project Manager, click the refresh button in our browser, and we should see that in our groups we've now got a bottom panel normal size and a bottom panel large size, a top panel normal size and a top panel large size, and so on and so on. Next, we can examine the Assembly tab. When we look at the Assembly tab now, we will see that for each component, the wood panels, the speaker panel, the speaker rings, and the speaker cones, there are two permutations of the parts. For example, if I click on the wood panel, I can click here on either the original size or the new larger size. The problem is that only that component changes. So how do we resolve this issue? Well, the answer is we once again use links. So we go up here to links, we choose to create a new link, and we can again choose the top panel as a driving component for this link. We can see here that we've got two different sizes of the top panel. This time we're going to say that this is a part link, and the part link is going to affect the top panel, the bottom panel, the right side panel, the left side panel, the speaker panel, and the rear panel. So what we're saying here is that when we use the first permutation of the top panel from the top group, we will also use the first permutation of the bottom panel from the bottom group, and the first permutation of the right panel from the right group, and so on. When we switch to the second permutation of the top panel, we will automatically switch to the second permutation of the bottom panel. We'll automatically switch to the second permutation of the right panel. That is what a part link establishes. So let's test out this part link to see how we're doing. We're going to go down to the list of our groups, and in each list of groups we've got a list of components. When we change from the first to the second permutation of the top panel, all of the other components that were in that link changed to their second permutation. So the part link is currently working. We change back to the first permutation and all of those parts change back. Let's add the remaining parts from our assembly to this link. We return to the assembly, choose the wood panel, choose to change the size, and we can see that all of the components have now changed to the larger size. The customer can now choose from any of our options and can choose from either size of our speaker design. So now the question becomes, how do we convey to the customer that they can change from one size to the other when they're visiting our website? And we're going to answer that question in the next video.